And here we are, spawning in the upper left in the red. He is, of course, for Alpha X. Max Angel, Astrea. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom left in the blue. You know him, you love him. Recently returned from military service. And Storm Gaming, he is Gumiho. Of course, the man also known as Gumigod, the mech god, other nicknames that I'm forgetting at the moment. He's back. He's back. And that is incredibly exciting here because we are losing players to military. We have lost TY. We will lose stats soon if we haven't already. I think we may have lost stats actually. So getting players back, getting Classic, getting Hero, getting Gumiho back from military, even if it takes them a little bit to return to their previous form, it takes them a year or something. It's good to have them back. Not only is it a countdown to Yon, it's a game, and we're into it. Well, we're 2 minutes into it, but, benefits of being on delay is I can talk about the past as if it's the future. Or the future as if it's the past. Something like that. I don't know. Wimbly wombly. Timey-wimey. Oh, no, Buckboy did it. Oh, no! Internet's gone down. Okay, it looks like we're back. Okay, I guess the players didn't even feel it. That's nice. So we do have, of course, the Reaper finding its way on in. See, when you say, hey, yeah, all I think of is the He-Man theme song, I said, hey, what's going on? And he prays. Anyway, because of course that was the most meme song of growing up. Even if I never saw the show and I grew up under a rock and didn't even have TV. But, my friends had phones and I was made aware of it in school on YouTube, whatever. Anyways, what do we got here in this game? It looks like the Reaper has gotten anything as I kind of ran out of the room to try to make sure that the internet was fine. Well, looks like it hasn't gotten much of anything yet, although a lot of probes have been pulled off here to deal with this, and one worker will finally go on down as we have a Marauder moving across the map. Wait, did we have concussive shells? No, this is just a random Marauder that the Adepts will kill on off. Really weird play from Gumiho. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or what, but it's not a proxy Marauder. It's just a Marauder that was run across the map and died. But, okay, what do we got here? Third base on the way with a couple additional barracks. So how many barracks do we have right now? We have 1. So this is just a 1-1 into a third base here. Gumiho playing a build that I'm actually not too familiar with. Generally, it's kind of 1-1-1 into something. But this is 1-1 into a third base into 2 additional barracks here. So I guess we're going to see some sort of stim timing. So the Oracles will fly on in, but the addition of the Cyclones here will be able to keep most things alive. And I'm just really curious what Gumiho is going for, because, we don't have a Stargate. It's just 3 barracks, it's a factory, and yes, there's a third base here, but I would have expected to see a Stargate, at the very least, after the factory completes. But there we go, Stargate on the way now, or Starport on the way now. As well, the third base is going to get taken. And Astrea, for his part, he hasn't gotten much damage done, right? He has 2 oracles, and they've killed just absolutely nothing here. Even it looks like they got a cyclone maybe, but that was just about it. And now, well, Astrea's going to have to be prepared to deal with the 2 cyclones running across the map, but there's a stasis trap, so really should be no issue there. And if I'm Astrea, I'm kind of as confused as I am, right? This is weird. So the Oracle will fly its way out into the natural, but again, we're not seeing the damage that Astrea may have wanted from this. Losing an Oracle is not great. And committing to 2 Oracles and getting 2 workers, it doesn't feel all that great. That being said, Gumiho has gone a little bit greedy with this opening. It's well, I don't know how greedy it is, because again, he did skip the Stargate to make sure he had more units. And now I think what we're going to see is just a big +1 stim combat shield time, or yeah, big +1 stim combat shield timing that's going to hit right around the same time a normal one is. Hey, Pylon Man, Jovantus, thank you so much. And thank you, Zinigo Pombo. I picked it, in fact. Well, we actually even did the last series because I wanted this one. Wanted to make sure we go into it. And yes, Void SC, this is in fact a God series to cast. In fact, I'll stop eating for the moment because I believe it deserves my full attention here. So what do we got here? We have an army moving out of the map. Blink Stalkers are just about done. Not ready yet, but this tank will go on down. But this was a move out from Astrea. This was not just a, hey, I want to go do something. I want to be able to pick off some of your armies. You move across the map. This was an actual dedicated push. There are so many sentries here. The tank stage is on up, which means a lot of these sentries are going down. But the progressive force fields here from Astrea is going to be able to keep the army of Gumiho back for the time being. And I think it's probably paired off enough of Gumiho's army that Astrea will be safe here. Now, he's only up 2 workers, but he's going to rectify that rather soon, as he does have a 4th base on the way here. And it will be Charge and Storm as a follow-up. So Astrea, he's not interested in going into Robo, into going into anything like that. No. It's, in fact, going to be a more gateway-focused army here. And I think that probably makes sense because there's not a lot of bulk here in this army. It's a lot of Marines that, of course, will absolutely suffer at the hands of a couple Storms. And the tanks are, of course, terrible against charge lots. So I understand the rationale for that here as Astrea. He's just posturing at this point. He has +1, so he has upgrade parity. But his army is not nearly as good as his opponents. So again, he cannot take a straight up fight, but what he can do is posture. Just sit on the edge, try to bait stims, try to find damage whatever he can, and wait until his army gets better. Wait until Charge is done. Wait until Storm is done. Wait until +2 is done. It looks like we do have a drop here on the other side of the map, and it will knock down a massive Artosis pylon. 3 gateways, a Stargate, the Cyber Core. And hey, Skin Biscuits, thanks so much for the follow, my friend. And not only this, these 4 Marines are getting so much. That's gonna get charged. That's gonna get the forge. And hey, Siegfried, welcome, welcome, welcome. Wait, did I just get a raid? We doubled in viewer count all of a sudden. But welcome everyone. Glad you're here. This is, of course, Astrea versus Gumiho, the first game of the series in the round of 32. Winner moves on to face Haas. But man, this is absolutely the marquee matchup of the bracket right now. Anyway, so where are we at? Astrea, he has his 4th base. No gas on that 4th base just yet, as he's leaning into Charge Lot, Storm, Archon. You don't really need 4 gas for that. As there we go. The stasis trap will finish and the Marine will die. But now it is Gumiho's turn here to get active on the map. He has a big army. He's got 4 tanks actually, a lot of bio, some Marauders to be able to actually survive in these storms. And we're just going to see how good Gumiho's his splits are and how good Astrea's preparation is to deal with the coming aggression. Now, here's the downside, right? We don't have a War Prism here with this army, so we do not have really nice storm flanks possible. With the tank sieging on up here, it's going to be very difficult indeed for Astrea to really take this fight. That being said, he doesn't have to. Zealots are moving on into the 4th base here. A lot of this economy, excuse me, will go on down by the drop in the main base. This time it will get cleaned on up. We won't see the massive damage we saw previously. Zealots finding the way on in. And hey, Fitty Go Hard, thanks so much for the follow here. Zealots moving on in as well. The run by is doing more damage than the main army does, but this time it's Gumiho. He says, okay, your army's on the other side of the map. Time for me to move on my side of the map as well. The 3rd base will go down. 18 workers have died, and this is not an army that Astrea can fight here. Not for the moment, not with these 4 tanks. not with all of the stim. So both players here just doing tremendous damage to each other. 56 workers have died. And what is Gumiho going to do? What is Astrea going to do from this point on? Gumiho, his economy is shattered. Astrea, his positioning is shattered, right? We still have 4 tanks here pushing on into the main base. It is 65 workers that have died over the course of this game. So if this game goes long enough, it's absolutely going to be incredible for Astrea here. But it's not about whether the game goes long. It's about whether Astrea is able to build up the army just now to deal with this. As, oh, he's going to get a couple medevacs for free. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. And now the War Prism is back. It means we're going to see some really nice Storm flanks go on in. Zealots, they're looking for the engagement here. Storms on top of all the bio. The army goes down. The tanks go down. And at the end of the day, well, Gumiho's got another army. Right? That lasted long enough. That hold lasted long enough that we had to wait here for Astrea. That Gumiho was able to build another army. As we do, so of course, see the stasis trap, not really complete. Stims will keep, or storms or scans will allow things to go on up here. Now the Stalkers are blinking on forward here. One Liberator goes down, second Liberator goes down. Zealot's getting on top of everything, but all the Stalkers are dead too here. What's the War Prism doing? It's not being quite careful enough. And Astrea here, he's down 30 supply. He does not have the storms that he needs. There's one High Templar that's doing its best, but it's 30 energy off of getting a storm that may be able to allow things to clear. So Bio's going to look to stim on in. And the tanks are going to siege it up. Now that's going to be a fantastic stasis trap, but it's also going to kind of keep the army safe here, as it will serve as a bit of a force field. As apparently, stasis trap Marines will trigger Zealot charge. But I think at this point, Astrea, he is really struggling in this game. Yes, he has a massive income lead. But his army, he's at 8 army supply. He overcommitted there to try to make that break happen. He lost all of his stalkers to the Liberators. And now the 4th base is dead. Gumiho already got the 3rd, and yes, there is this 5th base that Astrea has, but Gumiho is aware of it. And yeah, okay, Astrea's gonna mine from that a little bit, but this army is absolutely cutting the army off of Astrea at the knees. He will lose this 5th base, and yes, we will have some storms, but Gumiho, he's already got the pre-splits. He has everything he needs here to move from really not a great position into an absolutely victorious one. There we have it, GG Gumiho Psystorm. He takes game number 1. Oh, hey, Metis14, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. And shout out there to Steadfast. Thank you so much. Trey is a good dude. And thank you so much for sending everyone over here. This is absolutely a hype matchup. I'm very glad that I managed to snag it. Fair enough, Fiddy go hard. Normally it goes like twice like what it is. Hey, Oblivious. Welcome. But yeah, generally, and we got someone else. Welcome, Robe Wolfgang. But yeah, generally we do see, I see like the viewer count like spike massively because I get a raid or something or whatever. But apparently, Steadfast mentioning me, he has the power now, which I'm so happy for him. He finally got partner sitting here as one of the highest viewer counts for NA almost always. So I love how much progress he's gotten here. Yeah, I guess Metis, I guess what he thought. I guess kind of what he was thinking there was like, okay, there are Liberators. Okay. There are Liberators sieging on up, and he had the momentum. Maybe if he can knock down the tanks, knock down the Liberators before his army gets started in earnest, then maybe that's going to be enough. But unfortunately, he lost a little bit too much. The Stalkers blinking on top of the Marines. I guess he, with the line of sight blocker, didn't quite realize how many Marines there were. Losing that War Prism as well was a big deal, running it forward. And now, well, it's game number 2 here. It's another big map. It is 2,000 atmospheres. Game 1 was absolutely fantastic there. Gumiho really taking it to Astrea. But Astrea, absolutely, he had opportunities to win. And now it's game number 2. It is Astrea. It is Gumiho. Gumiho has that 1-0 lead. And we should get on in to game number 2. And now spawning in the bottom left, in the red, he is, for Alpha X, Max Angel, Astrea. And his opponent here spawning in the upper right in the blue. Up 1-0 in this series, newly returned Gumigod. He is Gumiho. And we should point out here as we get on into game number 2 that Gumiho did a rather weird build in game number 1. He went 1-1 into a third base, into 2 additional barracks, into the 3rd starport. Hey, Theon, thank you so much. Thanks so much for that gift sub. You are far too kind. And also, thank you so much for everyone. Generally, I just try to shout everyone out, but my chat is more full of people following than it is people actually talking. Which is not to say the chat's not active. It's just, you know, thank you so much to Steadfast. Oh, Pig as well. Thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, yeah, if you like what I do, follow me on Twitter. Follow me. Join my Discord, as I will pretty much always respond to anything. I'm a PhD student as well, so talk to me about robots, talk to me about StarCraft, talk to me about life. Tell me about the cool food you made. Whatever it is, I am absolutely here for it. But yeah, so Gumiho went for a rather interesting build. It was 1-1 into factory. And then he got his third base. And then he got 2 additional barracks. And he still hit a 7-minute 7:30 stim timing, or +1 stim combat shield timing. But again, I don't know. It's maybe I'm just blanking on something, but it seems like it's something that I don't see all that often. And now, Astrea, for his part, this will be a blink opener here in game number 2. I believe we saw that in game number 1 as well. But maybe not quite as quickly on the Twilight Council. Now, Gumiho, for this part, we're seeing something similar to what he did in game number 2. But no, this is not going to be that 1-1 into third base build. It's going to be 1-1-1. And it looks like it will be, at the very least, 1 Hellion for scouting. This may be Hellion drops. This may be Widowmine drops. We're going to have to see what exactly Gumiho does decide to lean on into, how aggressive he wants to be. Because Widowmine drops, they're not quite as committed, right? They're not quite as expensive. You don't have to commit quite as much to them. But on the flip side, the potential for damage at this day and age is not quite as significant as dropping 4 Hellions into a main base. But this is a single scouting Hellion, and now, of course, we do see Widowmines on the way. This will be Widowmine drops in game number 2. And Astrea, for his part, Blink is on the way. He is at 2 gates. Well, he will be at 2 gates for the moment. And knowing Astrea, knowing this map, I think this is most likely going to be a 2-gate expand build from Astrea here. Just getting enough Stalkers to make sure that he doesn't take too much damage, that he doesn't die to anything. Get that quick third base and go from there. And oh, look at this. This is, again, Gumiho. Apparently he's got his own idea about how to play the game after coming back from a 1.5 to 2 years in the military. We're seeing a Banshee build come on up, and it's so rare that we see Banshees happening. And hey, Aquanuts, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good night. So, okay, I like this. Astrea says, look, okay, you open with a single scouting Hellion. That's totally fine. Whatever. I don't want you to get on in there. I don't want you to know what I'm doing, even if I'm not doing anything all that weird. And actually, I believe the Hellion was able to scout this third base going on down. Okay, he saves the pylon. That's good enough here. But where's our Banshee? Not out. Okay, now the Banshee is out. And we do have observers on the way. So realistically, this Banshee shouldn't get a lot done with Blink done here, with observers on the way. But just because it shouldn't get damage done doesn't mean it's not going to... Sorry, Zilmer. I fixed it. It wasn't working for a while. And apparently it just decided to get far too loud. I'll fix that after this series. When I get a chance. Because unfortunately, StarCraft's got a bug where if you unfocus it, it goes to 20 FPS. Ooh, bacon avocado burgers. That actually sounds really good. I made a bunch of blats the other week. I got some good bacon and bacon, lettuce, avocado, tomato, a nice pseudo garlic aioli, aka mayo and garlic powder, and a little bit of lemon. But whatever. We do have this push here from Gumiho finding its way on in, and this is a bit of an interesting push. We do have the Banshees finding its way on in because, well, why attack in one place when you can attack on in two? In fact, this third base, there are not enough Stalkers here to defend this. And this... Okay, now the Stalkers are warping on in. Well, okay, the Widowmine... Oh, it's not even a blink. The tank shot means that this is going to be even more impactful. Third base is just going to die here for Astrea. Gumiho, meanwhile, he's not getting quite as much done with this Banshee as he would like. but he is going to attempt to knock down this pylon at the very least. But the Stalkers on the other side of the map, no, they're looking for reinforcements here. They're really not going to be all that successful because, well, this is not a rally here from Gumiho. This is just a one-time move out as he does take his third base, but this does mean the third base of Gumiho will get taken on down as well. At the very least, it will be delayed, and there we go. It will get canceled on out here. So how does this sit at the end of the day? Is it going to be... Okay, the second Banshee is going to go down here. Nice catch there from Astrea. Did Gumiho get enough done with this? Or are we going to see here Astrea? He's already got his third base underway once again. Nice job there using the Xel'Naga tower to make sure that he can take like 3 or 4 extra shots before the Marines do show on up. But now the tank's got vision. And, well, the one downside of a tank is it doesn't have its vision as long as it range. But Gumiho, he's fine on that one. So third base back underway here for Astrea once again. Charge as well as as a Robo Bay. So from that perspective, well, Astrea, he is developing his tech tree rather nicely as it looks like he was able to knock down the rest of those tanks. There's another Banshee's coming on in. This is 3 Banshees by now, I believe. Yeah, what is that? 2 Banshees have died. Third one is starting to find some damage here, but we should have Stalkers in the main base. No, they have not. They have left. And I don't think there's I don't see an observer either. So this Banshee's actually finding a lot more damage than the previous 2 did combined. And now, well, we will see an observer come on out. Stalkers move on in, but now the Banshee's in the main base. Of course, with the shield battery, it does take a little bit longer here for these probes to go down. But 6 more workers have died. Astrea, for his part, he is still up on workers here. We're not at that point where we do expect to see worker parity for the time being. And Astrea, I guess he's a little flustered here because we have disruptors on the way, but it's extended thermal lance. And that does mean, I guess, okay, you get disruptors for the near term. There we go. Okay, Colossus on the way here. You want disruptors because they're going to be able to fight immediately, and then you get on into Colossus because they're just kind of a more stable fighting force once you do get that extra range that extended thermal lance does give. And now Astrea, he is getting his gas on his third base. Oh, he's going to sit on the high ground. Is there a disruptor? Yeah, it's in range now. Disruptor shot's going to go off. Gumiho is not paying attention. What a massive shot there. And now, well, it's time to retreat. You don't need to do anything anymore. And he will force a siege on up here as Gumiho reclaims the position that he was looking for on the high ground as he's looking to push on in, because this is not the easiest position to break for the Protoss player here. With the choke here, you got to go a little bit far away to be able to actually get your full-on surround. So if Gumiho is able to get that sieged up position that he's looking for, it's going to be rather difficult, especially here as Astrea. I'm not exactly sure what supply blocked him, but he lost the pylon. And now the Zealot's going to move on in. Colossus firing stronger. Disruptor shot's going to go on top of 2 of these tanks, and it will be able to target them down, but now the Colossus is just dead. The tech here is lacking here for Astrea for the time being. We do have one more disruptor, or excuse me, that first one, but it's not there just yet. Do we have any Colossus on the field? No, we do not. It was only the first one that is out, but I think here we have just enough. The second tank will go on down, but the Banshee is doing so much damage here, but now I think there's going to be enough for the time being. Another disruptor shot will be coming out rather soon, and there we go. Gumiho, is he paying attention? No, he's not. Another massive disruptor shot there from Astrea. This time, though, the disruptor will die, but this just gives the Stalkers opportunity to fling on top of these tanks. One tank goes down. Second tank does go down as well, but that tank is going to take some parting shots indeed. But now it looks like Astrea, for the time being, he has been able to push Gumiho back. One medevac goes down. And yes, he is down in army supply, and he actually absolutely needs to move on back now. But this should buy him the time to get on up to 2 Colossus. That is absolutely what he needs to be able to make sure that he's able to make this hold happen. Now behind this, we have a Dark Shrine on the way and a 4th base here. Astrea, he's not just going to sit on 3 bases and suffer the inequities of Gumiho pushing on into him. He understands that he has held the push for the time being. Now, Gumiho will undoubtedly come back with a second, but for the time being here, with his Colossus out, with his first one active on the map, second one will be coming rather soon. Well, for the moment, he is safe. So, +1 on the way, Dark Shrine on the way, 4th base on the way. And actually, with the second Colossus, where is that? Second Colossus running across the map here. We do have Astrea trying to get a little bit more damage done. All right, Zealots are going to look to run on in, but they will just go... they're just going to get taken on out here. That's not exactly a valid trade. But all this is doing is buying time. He says, look, yeah, Gumiho, focus on your 3rd base. Don't pay attention to the fact that Zealot's going to run on into your natural when I find a good opportunity. Just focus on your 3rd base. Focus on where the majority of my army is. And now Astrea, he does have his third Colossus on the way. So once he's finally able to hit that 3 Colossus count is where he's actually going to be able to really do something in this game. As there are so many Banshees over the course of this game. I'm surprised that we see Gumiho still making them, or that he has kept making them over the course of the game. But now, okay, Stalker's going to blink on in. One medevac goes down. Now Zealots get on top of things. And we do have Guardian Shield get popped here. So Astrea really looking for a fight, but I'm not sure this is one he can take. Not before his third Colossus does join the fray. There we go. Third Colossus here. This will get scanned on out. And did I thought where is the Banshee? Okay, you're going to find this mineral line here. As we don't have any detection or a shield battery just yet. It is on the way. Actually, the cannon is on the way. But this will force Astrea back for the time being, as he does not want to lose any more economy compared to what he already has. The Stalker's going to blink back, but it's not really going to be all that effective because, well, Banshees can sit in the high ground. They can sit in the dead airspace and find a little bit more damage. But we do have this army on the left-hand side trying to find some sort of damage here. And with the tank sieging up like this is not really a position that Astrea can attack on into with the composition that he has. Now, of course, Charge Lot Blink DT is a thing, and Blink DT is on the way as well, as we do have 2-1 on the way as well. So maybe that's going to be the opportunity here. If the DTs are just going to run on in and ravage this mineral line, every swipe is 5 workers dead, as there were 5 DTs. 14 SCVs have died. And 8, they're going to get something on the way out as well. So Astrea here, he's down on supply, but really not in a bad position in this game whatsoever, as this army is just going to get annihilated here by these DTs, and they're going to look for the War Prism. That's going to be not all that successful. A scan is even forced here for no gain. So now Astrea, he's on 4 bases. Gumiho, he's taken his 4th base as well, but we're moving into the part of the game here that I think Astrea is perhaps the most proficient at, as the army is going to look to stem on it home. Gumiho, really good vision there, seeing those DTs. But yes, this is the position I think that Astrea is by far the best at. When you get to 4 to 5 bases, when you have, okay, it looks like the War Prism did die on the other side of the map. When you get to 4 and 5 bases, when you have Charge Lot Blink DT everywhere, well, that's when Astrea is by far the best. But he can't push on into here. This is 5 tanks. It just doesn't work. You can't do that. All right, so for the moment here, Gumiho is safe. He has his 5 tanks defending his 3rd base. 3-3 is on the way. He has a 1 upgrade lead. 1 upgrade lead on Astrea. Technically 1.5 because there is the tank upgrade as well. And Astrea, he doesn't have that big of an army, right? He's up 4 workers on his opponent. He's up some number of he's up a little. He's actually down an army a little bit. But that's really because he's committing to tech at this point. He's getting all the upgrades, he's getting War Prisms, he's getting additional bases. He's just building stuff that allows him to get later on, or allow him to survive later on. Because realistically, when you have warp-ins, it's only the tech units really matter when you're sitting here on the 10 gateways that Astrea is. But now Gumiho is looking to take a siege position here outside of the natural of Astrea, knock down this 5th base rather easily. I think he will be able to do so as the Stalkers do blink on forward. One Viking will go down immediately. We have a big run by coming on in from Astrea on the other side of the map. We'll take a look at that in a second here. So the Vikings are going on forward. More and more force fields going on in. The Colossus swipes are doing fantastic work, but the army of Gumiho has found its way out into the natural, has been isolated on into the natural here. This is something that Astrea gave him by the force field that he has opted to go for here. So the tanks are sieging up. This is not a position that Astrea can really fight on into. And yes, he's getting good damage. Yes, these tanks in the 3rd base are going down. Yes, the natural has been forced to live. Yes, all the workers there have died, but it is the army in the main base here for Gumiho that is causing the real problems. All the tech is going down as it looks like the tanks are finally getting taken on out here, but so are the Colossus. 2 Colossus are all that remain of the tech here of Astrea. Now, if he can find his way on into the main base, if he can annihilate this army, if the Psyblades are going to be able to do what they need to do, then maybe this is going to be worthwhile here. But Gumiho is going to stem on top of things. He has the upgrades. His 3-3 is on the way. 1 Colossus goes down immediately. The army here of Astrea is not getting what it needs. Most of it has died. So yes, we do have 2 bases lifted up. And if we look at the income for the moment, Astrea is ahead. But it's not a matter of income. It's not anymore. It's a matter of armies. It's a matter of tech. And when we look at that, yes, Astrea has the opportunity to eventually build a bigger army. With what, 2 gateways and a robo? With no cybercore? What are you going to do with that? Especially now as the economy is getting hit as well here. So the drop's going to find a 3rd base. So what we have here, Astrea, he's on 65 army supply. He does have some DTs, which are always a force equalizer. He does have Colossus. He does have Disruptors. But this army he has is the only army he ever will have, and because he's kind of filtering on in here, this army from Gumiho is just fighting so damn strong. Meanwhile, of course, Gumiho, he has dropped his third base back into position. His other one he has forgotten about for the time being. But Astrea, unfortunately, with those force fields, he prevented himself from finding his way on into the natural. And with that being the case, right, with being unable to defend his natural and his main base, it didn't matter how much damage he did on the other side of the map unless he explicitly went and killed his opponent. Because, again, 4 gateways now, as he has rebuilt some. 4 gateways. No cybercore even. He can warp in zealots, and that's just about it. And these zealots are down 3 upgrades. So now we have Astrea here. I guess he's going to try to posture to see what he can do. But, I mean, Gumiho's on 4 bases. Astrea doesn't even have the income advantage anymore. And oh, look at this. We have 2 Banshees at a time coming on out here from Gumiho. He's like, yep, I've been in these games before. In fact, it was Gumiho versus, I want to say, Sue that got down to the final Spore Crawler that died to a Banshee. That ended really one of the greatest GSL games of all time. So Gumiho, he's no stranger to games like this. The Banshees are going to fly on in. And hey, you know what? They don't have, no, they don't have flyer attack, but it doesn't matter because 2 of them 1-tap probes anyways. This base is down. This base will not be mining anytime soon. And now it's Astrea effectively on a base and a half. And by the way, Banshees are not only good at killing probes, at establishing map control, all of those fun things. Banshees are very good at knocking down robo units, and knocking down disruptors and colossus and all of those fun things because, well, they're armored and Banshees do bonus damage to armor here. So zealots are going to try to find something, but I mean, just look how long it takes for these zealots to kill stuff. They do not have the upgrades here. So now the army's moving on in. Astrea here, he's trying to keep this colossus alive. Maybe with the 1 colossus he's going to have enough here, but the army just stimming on in. There's not enough splash, even with the shield battery overcharge. Everything is going on down. Astrea is going to tap out. GG Gumiho is going to take the series 2-0.